Yeah, good evening to members of the media. Let me start by congratulating Mamelodi Sundowns, the football club. And when I say the football club, I mean everybody involved at the club. It's been it's a difficult period for us, and every victory counts. So I wanna congratulate everybody, the technical team, the coaches, the players, for pulling through. I think what we did today was nothing short of a miracle, because without our strong mentality and character, we don't win this game. Especially after you think about what happened in our last league match against Morocco Swallows, and you've got something very similar where the team could have collapsed while also struggling for legs. And people can say, yeah, rotation, but you're rotating with players that also had a trip to Tunisia, 11 hours to go there, 11 hours to come back. You're rotating with players that some were on the bench, some were in the grandstands in Tunisia. Their emotional affection from the result also influences that. So when I say fatigue, I mean fatigue in that sense. And you could see it a little bit towards the end where the players were suffering a little bit. But we dug deep, and I'm very proud of them because I think today we showed the strength of a chameleon. We absorbed pressure and we suffered when we needed to. We were potent and very aggressive when we needed to, and sometimes we stayed quiet without too much when we needed to. And I'm very proud of the players because we used the tempo at the right time. We were fast at the right time, slow at the right time, and then when the game asked us to suffer, we suffered. So proud of the players, proud of the effort of everybody. We beat a good side. I actually have to say that, and I even said to the coach, he's got a good team. I wish them everything of the best, and I congratulated him, in fact, for winning Coach of the Month, because I think it was well deserved.
Okay, we'll take questions. Show of hands, and just tell us your name and your publication. Thank you. Any questions?
You just said a new record, hitting on record of 21 victories in a row, 22 tonight. You just mentioned everything that the team is going through. How sweet is it to continue to almost be the benchmark of winning in the Premier Soccer League?
It's funny, Kent, that I don't feel it. I don't feel like we are a team that has a continental trophy. I don't feel like we are a team that's sitting on top of the DStv Premiership with so many points between us and the rest of the group. I don't feel like the team that has probably the longest unbeaten record so far in the history of the PSL. I don't feel like the team that has broken many records. I don't feel, and I don't know why. I think there's just a feeling that maybe it is because I move on too quickly. Maybe it's also because of a lack of appreciation that I sometimes feel, and that in the difficult moments we don't get the support that we need. But I always say to you guys, who cares? The job must go on. We have to keep fighting. We have to keep trying to grind results for this club and to make our supporters happy. That's what I am focused on at the moment, and grateful for the opportunity presented by God to achieve records and break records. But At the same time, I think maybe it's that 24-hour rule that doesn't allow me to sit too much on some of the good things, But yeah, I know we're still the team that I know. We're still a good team, and a difficult patch does not change that in my mind, So, yeah, I don't know how it feels. Sorry, I don't know what feeling it is, because I just don't know how it feels.
Coach, do you think lack of appreciation is typified by winning 2-0 and your fans cheering a player and breaking down his confidences? Like, what did you say to them to make them stop? And then secondly, I just want to ask if you watched the Esperance game again. Obviously you did. You still feel the same way of everything you said post-match?
Yes. I watched the Esperance game, and I think the players got tired of me yesterday, because we didn't have a training session, but the length of the video session was in the same proportion of the training. And normally I try to keep the video sessions about 20 minutes. I've promised them that I try to keep the video sessions about 20 minutes, and even if it means having 3 video sessions in a day of 20 minutes each instead of 1 hour at a go, because again, psychologically, it's not just what I want to do, but psychologically, you think about the concentration span of a human being. And so these football players, to really get through to them, you can't even surpass that, maybe a little bit. And I still think the same. I think we were let down by details. And if you see the details, it's even to a point where I said to them yesterday that the goal that we conceded embarrasses me as a coach. Like, I'm embarrassed as a coach to say this is a team I coach, and it starts with me. It's not the players, it starts with me. There's a lack of attention to detail that points directly at me, and so I still think we were the better side by far. I think of course there were moments where they were on top of us and we had to suffer. But Champions League is Champions League. It's a semi-final exactly for that. And sometimes I have the feeling that we don't, especially, we don't understand the Champions League. I look at the Champions League with such a different perspective, because I've been here before. I was an assistant coach to the previous coach for a very, very long time. And the previous coach was here for 8 years. And he had 8 years to try to win the Champions League, and we only won the Champions League once. We only played the semi-final of the Champions League once. Well, 2 times, because the other time we got into the final. But after that, in 8 years, we've only played the semi-final once and lost in the semi-final. Instead, then we played the semi-final twice, if you want to call it that, because we played and then we won it. So in 8 years, under the previous coach, we've played the semi-final only twice and won the Champions League once. This is my second season, if you want to call it that, and we've done back-to-back semi-finals already. And sometimes I have that feeling that people don't appreciate that because of how they perceive their expectations. And you only have to go to a position like Manchester City, for an example, where they lost to a team like Real Madrid, and Manchester City, with all the investment, with all the players and the profile of the players. Pep has only won the Champions League once in 12 years. It's called the Champions League because it's the League of Champions. It's all the teams that have won trophies in their domestic leagues and competitions. And so, of course, the level is going to be high. And of course, the margin for error is going to be small. You make a mistake in the Champions League, you will suffer. And that's sometimes what people don't understand. And then if you look at the profile of the last 4 teams in the Champions League, you look that there's 21 Champions League trophies amongst the last 4. There's Al Ahly with 11. there's a Mazembe with 5, and there's an Esperance with 4. And then there's a Mamelodi Sundowns with 1. Now, what gives us the God-given right to think it's going to be just a walk in the park and win the Champions League and beat Esperance? What gives us that? We've got to work hard for it. We've got to suffer for it. We've got to lose sometimes in the games like we lost away from home to learn how to play the Champions League and how not to make mistakes in the Champions League. But this can only happen if you go through the journey. And I've got a 4-year contract here. And all I'm asking for, from the Sundowns fans even, is give me 4 years to try to win. I'm not asking for 8. I'm asking, give me 4 years to try to win the Champions League. It's going to happen. I'm 100% sure it's going to happen. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not going to be easy. Is it going to be win, 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 win all the time? No, it's not going to be win, win, win all the time. Is it going to be pretty football and play well all the time? No, it's not going to be pretty football all the time. But we will get there. I watched Al Ahly versus Mazembe. My goodness, I must tell you, I fell asleep. It was so, no, I tell you, I fell asleep. And I said to myself, no, I've got to get Red Bull and watch this game properly. Because, no, but I ask myself the scenarios. Al Ahly is going to Congo and is playing away. And they are very happy with the performance that they gave, plus a 0-0. We go away, and the fans expect us to win against a team that's won 4 Champions League trophies. And sometimes you've got to be a little bit realistic. You know, we have to understand how many Champions League games has this group played? How many times have they played the semi-final? How many times have they played the final? Most of these players here, apart maybe from Dennis, apart maybe from Mshishi, have never played a Champions League final. And so what does that say to you? It means it's a process, and it's a process that we are committed to. We are working very hard towards trying to achieve. But it's going to come with ups and downs, some bad results. And to be honest, I don't think the performance was that bad. I still don't think the performance was that bad. I think Esperance are a good side. I think they are well coached. I think they've got some very good things that they do on the pitch. But I also think Sundowns is a very, very good side. It's also a team that is well coached and also does a lot of very good things on the pitch. And for that, I will always be very proud of this team. And now it's to focus and try to overturn the result, and we'll do everything that we can to do that. We are 100. Sometimes I get the feeling that the people think that I'm happy when the team doesn't play well, or I'm happy and satisfied when the team loses. I bleed just as much as the supporters. I suffer. I even punish myself. I can stay and not eat. I left Klorkop. We arrived around midnight. We did regeneration for about 45 minutes. I left Klorkop 2:30 in the morning, knowing that on the same day, the next day, we are in camp. We're meeting and going to camp. But those are the things that some of the people don't know, because they think, oh, the coach is happy that the team's not playing, or this one's not playing well, or that one, and the coach is happy. No, the coach suffers, because before he coaches the team, he's the number one fan. He is a fan of the club before anything else. And so I'm part of this process. And when everyone feels the pain, believe me, I feel the pain too. I might not feel it to the extent of some of the Sundowns fans, but I feel the pain, and I feel it deeply. So that's just me going on a rant about the Champions League, because I just get the feeling that people think, they'll just win the Champions League. It's a very difficult competition. And when Jose Mourinho spoke of football heritage, watch the European Champions League. Real Madrid versus Man City. You don't have to go far. Man City, by far the best team, over both legs, by far. But they've got no heritage. Real Madrid have this obsession with the competition, and then the football gods say, We know this guy. This one always buys us flowers and chocolates and even in difficult moments when the relationship is not so strong, this one will never stray from us. He's close. And so what does it do? It favors and that's the position we have to get to, where we are flirting with the Champions League so much that it decides to leave the North African teams and says, I found a new husband. And that's what we have to do. We have to take it on the dates all the time. Semi-final, semi-final, final, semi-final, final. We keep taking it out on dates. And that's what we have to do. Eventually, it will say, yes, I do. We can go now to the altar. Eventually.
Okay, move on, Karago.
We can end the press conference, boss.
Are we ending it?
No, I'm not in charge. Oh, sorry, I'm not in charge.
Yeah, Coach, I think extensively to what Lorenz said, and good evening, Coach.
Good evening, sir.
I watched your press conference closely, pre-match up against Esperance, post-match, and now as well. It looks like there's a different feel about you. I think you're just a bit softer to some extent. I might be wrong, but it looks like there's a different demeanor about you over the last couple of press conferences. And secondly, the previous coach said Sundowns now knows what to win. He said some of the players are now falling down. You're calling them to try and coach them. Does the Champions League give you that experience in regards to how to manage certain matches?
Let me start with the... no, I don't know. I can't say that for sure. I just called the players because I've got to change. Today, I think I changed the formation 5-6 times. Honestly, I did, and I had to do it because of circumstances. There's different circumstances, and then when I have Musa and River who haven't played for so long, I've got to protect them also. So I've got to find ways to protect them. How do I protect them while not opening up certain areas of the pitch? And then they change the plan because when they have Jesse Don and Linda Mtambo, the profile of the two up front is completely different. Linda is a midfielder. Weber, is a midfielder. When they attack, they overload the midfield, and so the centre backs are free. But then they put Ohizu, and then when you have Ohizu, he occupies the two centre backs. Now you've got to think about the situation, because with the moment they start to do that, then they get Ngube to invert closer, Mokwena to invert closer, and that brings a lot of problems now to River, Musa and Brian. So how do you protect them? Because at that time, then you have the fullbacks coming, especially with Nico Mobi taking aggressive wing play. So you overload now on Musa's side on the inside and on the outside. He needs a little bit of protection. You overload on the inside and the outside of Brian Onyango. He needs a little bit of protection. But you still have to put pressure on the centre backs, because Cardoso, if he's free, he delivers the diagonal, and then they find themselves in the final third. Mokocho, if he's, and that's the change also, because he plays deeper close to the centre backs, he has time to receive and develop the play. If you open that, you're going to have a problem. So I'm trying to protect the defensive line, but still maintain the pressure on top. So many solutions, things, and that's why I give a lot of credit to the players. On my demeanor, I'm tired. I must tell you, I'm very tired. I'm tired. And there's a lot going on, but no one cares. I've just got to get on with it. I have to do press conferences. Maybe I've got 6 press conferences to do every week, because I play 3 games. I've got to talk to you. I've got to plan training. I've got to watch 4 or 5 games. Esperance, I had to watch 8 games of Esperance. I've got to then do corrections. And people will say, yeah, but he's talking about fatigue and being tired, the player's tired, but he's got 46 players. But there's only one head coach, and the head coach suffers with the players too. He's got work to do. He's got to suffer and analyze and check and this, and I can't. I'm allowed to. By the way, I'm human, and it's perfectly normal for someone to be tired, and I'm tired. And also, to tell you the truth, I don't feel appreciated. I don't think the sacrifices, I don't think the amount of investment and sacrifice that we give, and I can say it for myself also, is appreciated, to be honest with you. So it affects me because I'm human, and I'm not afraid to say it, because sometimes to speak about your weaknesses is a good thing, because then you are able to know how to galvanize yourself and find strength. But I'm strong. I have the support of the club. I have the support of the players, which is very, very important. I get constant calls, messages. In fact, my players are the ones that are constantly saying to me, "Hey, can you sleep a little bit? You know, we need you to sleep." They're on my case every day. They say to me, "Can you ask Tammy? He'll tell you." They're the first ones. "Can you sleep a little bit?" But I can't sleep, because the moment I sleep is the moment the people will beat us. And the only thing I know is to continue what we are doing with the results, with the performances, to improve even the performances, because they have to improve in what is a very, very abnormal season. It's an abnormal season, this. Last season, we didn't have the Telkom knockout. We played one extra game in that competition. Okay. We didn't have the AFL. And the AFL had 6 games, 3 games that you had to travel for. We didn't have AFCON, where we had Peter Shalulile at AFCON. Plus, I had 8-9 players from Sundowns playing almost every single game for. I don't have time for training. I can't train the team. And then it's about video. So if I sleep and I don't prepare the video every day, they know. Every day they come in, there's a video session, and there's details, and there's things that is supposed to happen. And that's the only way I know. I don't know any other way to succeed. I don't know any other way to give back to this football club and repay them for the loyalty that they've shown to me, to give me this opportunity. I don't know any other way except to sacrifice my sleep, except to sacrifice my health, and to deliver the results. I don't know any other way, and I will continue to do that. And maybe that is a way. I don't know how to answer more, but maybe that is a way to answer your question. That's just where I am, the space that I find myself in at the moment.
Can I just come here, then I'll come to you? Okay.
Thanks very much. Congrats, Coach.
Thank you, sir.
I mean, with that said, what you just said now, in fact, most of what you've been saying. In fact, let me start by saying, most of people think that you should not have played tonight. You should not have played against Richards Bay. Maybe you should not have played against Swans. So my question would be, because somebody needs to set the record straight.
Sure.
Have Sundowns applied for postponements, and if yes, what are the reasons being presented to the club?
No, if I answer that, I'm going to get into trouble. Let me leave it. He's the team manager. He's smiling. Maybe he must sit here and answer that question. No, but you know what I like? And again, people will say, Pep Guardiola. You know what I like? After Chelsea's game, Pep put it straight. And if it can affect Manchester City, who have to travel between European countries, what more about us? And this is the question that I ask. And really, that's the only way I can answer your question. I can't control anything else except to make sure the team is ready, the team is prepared, and we are able to perform on the pitch. That's my focus, 150%. I'll ask Tammy to answer you. And I think if you read in between the lines, I think you will understand. But I can't say anything because I'll get into trouble. I'm already in trouble for my last press conference.
15 minutes.
Sorry. Yeah, you can come and join.
No problem.
It's for the club, that one. Good evening, sir. Thank you, sir. It's good to see you. I haven't seen you in a long time. Yeah, I saw you against Yanga. Oh, you all got it.
Coach, I actually wanted to ask the same question.
Sure.
And I think you didn't answer it. What do you say to Brian Onyango under the circumstances, and just maybe your message to the fans regarding that kind of thing?
No, we can never, ever condone such behavior. It's completely unacceptable. It is complete. These guys are giving their best. And football is a game of mistakes. And some of them, by the way, that are booing Brian Onyango for a mistake, if you were to follow them in their own professional space and say, I just want to shadow you for a day. I just want to shadow you for a day. Let me see if you're going to do your work without a mistake. Believe me, you will pick up so many mistakes, even in their own personal lives. So, as human beings, why are we berated when we commit mistakes? I make more mistakes than Brian Onyango ever makes. I am so mistake prone, it's not even funny. But he knows, like all my players know, that I love him, I support him, and he knows he's got my back 100%, because I know he's also protecting me all the time. He knows that I've got his back. So that's the only thing I can say. The rest is, for me, I think the Sundowns fans, they know what they should do. They know, and I've said this before. And I'm gonna repeat it. Empires don't collapse; they dilapidate bit by bit. We start taking small things for granted. We start taking the efforts of the players for granted. We start taking wins for granted. We start taking results for granted because we think we are entitled to winning. That is the start of the demise of major football clubs. And then all of a sudden you look at yourself and you say, how did we get here? But it started with small behavior that you didn't uproot. And that's important. These players, they deserve so much more support, so much more encouragement, so much more belief. And of course they're going to make mistakes. But that's what corrections are for. That's why you employ a coach to sit after and say, let's go through the corrections. And you think I enjoy sitting with the players and saying, hey, you did this mistake, you did this mistake, hey, you did this. It's not easy. Do you think they enjoy having to see their mistakes in front of their teammates? It's not easy. So nobody goes out onto the pitch to deliberately make a mistake. Nobody does. So when they do make mistakes, the first thing is, I make mistakes too. You start there. Because if you don't start there, then you will lack empathy. But if you start there and you say, hey, I make a lot of mistakes in my life, then the starting point is empathy. And then as soon as there's empathy, then there will be support and encouragement, because you know how it feels to make a mistake and to be condemned. True? So you then start by saying, I don't want this person to feel like that, because your heart is good. And then you support and you galvanize, and that's the job of supporters. That's why they're called supporters. And they are there to support. And to support means in good and in bad, I've got you. Is it the last one? We've gone past, yeah. Okay, the second last.
Coach, we're at the business end of the season.
Sure.
Friends have already started talking now. It's that time where the discussion of the play of the football of the season crops up.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to find out from you, coach, if you were the judge, who is your football of the season?
It is a difficult one, because I think there's been an unorthodox front runner, and that's Ronwen Williams. And it's unorthodox because we normally don't consider goalkeepers to receive such awards. Normally, and I'm talking by football culture worldwide. goalkeepers do not really, and I think that's why they then started also creating individual awards like the Golden Glove Award for the goalkeeper, because really, honestly, it's an award that very seldom goes to the goalkeeper. But when I look at Ronwen's contribution this season to Sundowns, not just only on goalkeeping, but also on infield play, in possession, in the way he tries to do the things, I think he's been head and shoulders, and from a level of consistency, he's been head and shoulders above the rest. But there has been some very good individual performances periodically, and sometimes when, like for an example, a player like Patrick Maswangai deserves special mention, because I've been watching, and he's picking up towards the end of the season. And so you know how the mind works, is it remembers the recent. And then of course he deserves mention, and people will speak about him because, and I agree, I think at the moment he is playing very, very well, and he has a great contribution to that. I think Rhulani Mokwena has been good once again. He's been at a very, very good level. He's had patches where it's been up and down and up and down. He's had that. I think Musa Libusa has been excellent. This is my opinion. Musa has been hindered, unfortunately, by injuries, but I think Musa has had an incredible season. And then, of course, I think some of the players that went to Bafana, even before they went to AFCON, they were excellent. I think Modiba has been excellent just before AFCON, and there's been, of course, a bit of a dip, and I think in the last couple of games there's been an increase in the last few games. I think Sailor Modao, beginning of the season, was phenomenal, and then of course after AFCON, with fatigue, with games, with also emotional fatigue, because you must understand what it's like to be in a semi-final and be so close to win a trophy, and then to get that disappointment, having invested so much and feeling like you can get there. So I think there's been some good, even at Stellenbosch. I think there've been some very good performances. I think Torre at the back has been very good in the games that I've watched. I think Reyners has been good in the games that I've watched. I think Titus has been. I think Titus has been very good for them. His speed, his aggression, his ability to get behind the defensive line. And that's what I think. I think those are the type of players. And of course, there'll be a player at TS Galaxy. Mujele has had some very good moments also during the season, and he's done also very well to help the team to be where it is, and he deserves special mention. But like I say, fortunately, I am not the judge. Fortunately, I don't have to make that decision, and if I were to make that decision, I'd be extremely biased, because for sure, in my opinion, it would go to a Sundowns player, no doubt about that. Well, I've told you that Ronwen, for me, I think Ronwen, what he's done this season, will shape South African goalkeeping culture for many, many, many years. I think what we will start to see is teams will start recruiting goalkeepers because they can play with their feet and assist in the build-up more than looking at a goalkeeper because he can stop shots. And this thing is happening already worldwide. You see how Arsenal go for Raya, and even though he's the shortest, but Tottenham is the same. They go for goalkeepers, and the number one requirement is, can you give us 11 players in possession? That's what is, and that's what Ronwen is going to do. He's going to influence the tactical thinking of South African football in relation to the profile of the goalkeepers. And you can see it also. You see it with Sipho Chainer and Pirates. You see it. He does incredible work also for them during the build-up. And you see even Chippa now. They've moved a little bit away from Nwabali to try to go for a keeper that can distribute and play a little bit. I don't know for how long, because maybe there is a rotation policy. But this is based on the games that I see. I watch Swallows a lot, and I see Akpe's involvement in the thing. So yeah. What Ronan has done this season needs to be appreciated and recognized. And if there is that form of recognition that is due to him, then why not? Regardless of the position, why not? Because his performances speak that he is worthy of that.
Okay, thank you. Just take the last one.
Yeah.
Could maybe an update on Dennis Onyango? It was stretch.
Yeah.
And also, what's your thoughts on Jody? February played his first match for Sundowns.
Jody was magnificent. I'm very proud of him. In fact, he does deserve special praise, even though you know me, I don't like to single out individuals, but I think Jody came on under a lot of pressure. He hasn't played in a long time, but he showed his qualities and he showed why he's at Sundowns. He's had some difficult moments, and I'm very, very proud of him because we've had a lot of discussions where even with the goalkeeper coach, even with him, and he's taken those positives positively, and it shows on the performance. So I'm very proud of him. But just like I'm proud of Newa Mayema, I'm proud of Lebo Mabue, I'm proud of Tapelo, I'm proud of Tashrik today, I'm proud of Musa, I'm proud of River. I'm very proud of Brian Onyango, very proud to do what he's done, to play even under the pressure that he played. I'm very, very proud, and I'm sad because even the penalty that goes against him, you watch it, he's got his foot on the ball and he wins the ball clearly, but the attacker looks to try to get contact with him from behind. But it's very difficult when you get a penalty and you are goal side. But okay, this I don't want to go into this thing because the last time I went into it, I was told I don't know the laws of the game, and yet after that I was vindicated because it's very, very clear on that situation. No, and it upsets me because we've dropped 2 points. But if you look at it, it's very clear when the ball was kicked by Kwanda, Mango is running in the same direction as Divine Longa, let alone the fact that he did not have control of the ball, but he was running in the same direction from an offside position as Divine Longa. So his intention is to go after the ball, and that then says by letter of the law that he is gaining an advantage and interfering with play from an offside position. Now, when I said that, people say, he thinks he knows the laws of the game. But it's true. That is exactly what the law says. And the problem with the law, also, before I go to Dennis, is that there is a part of the law that says it is also up to the referee's discretion. You see, that's the part that I every single time I have conversations with, when the referees come and present the new laws to the team and all of that, I always ask them that. I say, how do you put laws and then you put, but it's still up to the discretion of the referee? My discretion is not going to be the same as yours because my personality is not the same as yours. So what I consider to be reckless, dangerous, may not be what you consider to be reckless, dangerous. And it might be because of our background. I come from Sentin and you come from Soweto. So what may be dangerous for me and reckless for me may not necessarily be dangerous and reckless for you. So how do you put a statement that says it is up to the discretion of the referees? And that is in the laws of the game. Go check and you will see it. And I've always asked that to say, unless you have the same referee for every single game, you can have that. But once you have different personalities, different referees, it becomes very, very difficult to put that gray area in between, because then the referees can easily play in that gray area and their excuse can be, according to my discretion, according to my opinion, that was a reckless challenge. According to my opinion, he was affecting the situation and he was in an offside position, and it's my discretion. And you can't argue with someone's discretion. It's not possible. So that is that. Dennis Onyango is fine. He's conscious. He's got a very bad cut. Again, I'm surprised we don't get a foul. I'm surprised we don't get a foul. He's kicked in the mouth. He's a goalkeeper. Again, we go to the laws of the game. He should be protected. And then he's not. But anyway, it doesn't surprise me anymore, does it? So that's that, guys. Sorry for keeping short. This is the longest press conference, I think. I'm sorry. I apologize. I went on and on. So
Thank you.
sorry. Thank you very much, guys.